Hello, everyone. Welcome to Prana Yoga Online. My name is Isabelle, and this will be a short discussion, exploration of how to set up a home practice space. So, first of all, it's lovely if you can dedicate a room to your yoga practice, but many of us don't have that luxury. So a corner of a room is fine, a little space that you can make clean and clear of other items, large enough for your mat and for the full wingspan of your arms and your legs when you're in those larger space-taking postures. It's wonderful if you can have fresh air and no draft, so ensure that you're not getting wind or air blown directly on you. Having natural light, meaning a window, is fantastic, but it's not required. I practice in my basement and have done for many years, and it's wonderful. That cave-like environment can also be sweet. So a room, a corner of a room, some fresh air if possible, some natural light if possible. And then let's talk about other ways to support ambiance. You might enjoy just having a simple lit candle, or maybe some essential oils in a burner, awakening scents like rosemary or mint, maybe for a morning practice, and soothing and calming scents like lang lang or jasmine or lavender for an evening practice. These are just ideas. Nobody has to do that part. It's just for those of you that would enjoy. You can have silence, which is wonderful because it will make the soundtrack of your breath that much more clear and audible to you. And that can be a nice way to gauge just how you're doing in your practice. But if you'd like music in the background, if you've got a Spotify account, you can find lots of lovely ambient music or yoga music through that kind of platform. My personal favorite is on YouTube, and it's a musician channel called Calm Whale. And I love what this person creates. And so I highly recommend you check it out if you'd like some really lovely, soothing ambient music in the background. Now let's talk about stuff. You know, what kind of stuff do you need? Do you need any stuff? Do you even need a mat? If you don't have a yoga mat and you don't want to purchase a yoga mat, you don't have to. You can use a towel. You could be practicing on a carpeted surface that you vacuum so you know is clean. Mats are fantastic for a couple of reasons. They provide a non-slippy surface so that you feel more safe and secure in your practice. They also delineate your practice space. And so seeing your mat rolled out can be a nice beckoning invitation to come onto your mat for a practice at a regular time or at an atypical time. So it can be nice to have that space allocated, but you don't have to have a mat. You could even use your hardwood floor if that's what you've got, and just have a towel available for the postures that create more pressure on the bits of your body that you'd like to soften and support. So that's a little bit about mats. Let's talk about props and what you can DIY at home. Ta-da! So the first thing I'll show you is a scarf. This scarf you can use as a strap. So, for example, bringing your body forward in a forward fold from Dandasana, you could use a scarf. If you were doing a standing balance and you weren't yet comfortable fully extending your leg with holding it with the peace fingers, you could use your scarf like so. You could also use There's lots of other uses for the strap. A bathrobe tie. This is my husband's. It is fantastically cushy and comfortable. So it's a wonderful alternative for a strap. Maybe I just want to hold my legs together in a restorative posture so I don't have to utilize any musculature to maintain this alignment. So that's a great use of a strap, bathrobe tie, scarf, resistance band, belt, you name it. Okay, let's move on to blocks, which I would say is maybe the most vital support for a practice. And look what I have here. I've got a box of canned goods from Costco. Perfect dimensions and height and really stable. No risk to the product and no risk to me using this. I also have 2 books, one a hardcover book from long ago, and one my nice thick India travel book. You can use books like this. You can use pocket dictionaries. Hardcovers are fantastic. You could even use, in some postures, big solid jars or cans of food. But why I'm using these particular shapes is for stability. So let me show you for an example how they might be handy in a posture. And because this surface is so nice and clean, I'm going to put my books underneath. And you know what? I could even wrap these items or cloak them in a towel so they're more comfortable. So I've got my little block tower. And I can use it for a supported bridge. So sacrum right on the series of canned goods and blocks. So there you go. Now, why do I have a bag of rice here? Bag of rice, and unfortunately, we've eaten so much of this, it's gotten a lot less heavy. So great if you keep it full, or maybe just use a little bit of the rice, put it in a separate container, and then have the rest of the bag available. I also got this from Costco, but you can find it from any superstore or, large grocery store. So sandbags are fantastic because they give so much weight of support, particularly in restorative postures. So for example, I could be in child's pose, and even actually this small amount of weight is fantastic, and hanging out like so. So it makes a little sound, you know, the crinkling sound, the rice rolling around. You could also put the whole bag into a pillowcase and make it a little softer and more comfortable that way, or wrap it in the same towel that I showed you with the blocks. Okay, on to our other items. I'm assuming that at home or wherever you happen to be, you have access to blankets. So great. It's great to use blankets for your yoga practice. And how we most often use them is to help you set up a nice throne. Sitting your sits bones on the blanket, tilting the pelvis forward, it's just going to give you so much support to sit up beautifully tall, open the lungs, lengthen through the spine, dropping the knees lower than the fold of the hips. And you could be using 2 or even 3 blankets here. You could fold them as many times as you need to create sufficient support. So that's a use for blankets. I'm also going to show you another fun trick. So we use blocks for different purposes, as I mentioned. Some are just to create space between, for example, the thighs. So I could use my nice thick blankie. I've kind of rolled it in a little roll, and then my bathrobe tie, make it nice and tight. And now my legs are being snugly held in hip width distance. Might have to kind of play around a little bit. But anyway, you can also use a nice wadded up blanket in place of a block for some of those postures. Last but not least, I've got a pillow to create a bolster. And you can do this a number of ways, depending upon the pillow and how you're going to be using the bolster. You might kind of roll your pillow up and then bungee cord it into a nice wad. You could use it like so. You could do the same and then wrap a blanket around it. You could even duct tape that blanket around the pillow, or you could roll up a blanket or two in a nice tight wad and use that as a bolster. But here's a great use for a pillow. I've folded it in half. I'm placing it to the space behind the backs of my knees. And then heaven. So, yes, I've created a royal mess here. Nice to clean all your bits and pieces up and put them away. Let's just see if there's anything else I'm missing. Oh yes, eye pillow. Okay, so eye pillows are fantastic. We tend to use them in Shavasana at the end of a practice, but really the purpose they're serving is to create a soft weight on the eyes to support your relaxation, and also to block the light from your eyelids to support your relaxation. So even the sleeve of a sweater or a long sleeve shirt could be used over the eyes to block the light. And you could also make yourself a little sandbag by putting some beans or rice into a little Ziploc bag, folding over the excess plastic, tape it together, and then wrap it in a nice piece of cloth. And then you can make your own little erstwhile sandbag. One last thing I will mention, any yoga practice is wonderful and is supportive to your physical health and your overall well-being, your state of mind. It's great, if you can, to do it at the same time and the same place throughout your life, so that you build up a habit and an association with that part of your house, with that time of the day. It just makes it easier and easier for you to return to your mat and to drop into a lovely interior space as you practice. And all of us have lives that require our attention, focus, and energy at different times. So just do your best. Enjoy. Maybe you'll get ideas for brand new DIY prop variations at home. If you do, let me know. I'd love to learn, and we can share your wisdom with the rest of the prana community. So I hope that's been helpful and supportive and maybe entertaining. Enjoy your home practice. Enjoy carving out even 10, 12, 15 minutes a day to come to your mat and see what's possible. Namaste.